hopefully the microphone's working. Okay, so I'm John, and I'm just gonna, full disclosure, I got to start over with this whole thing because I honestly, so you're here because you probably saw me post a link somewhere, and I'm trying to just like get the word out, right? And then you come here, and so this is basically, you're here because you want to know more about what this is all about, and so I'm gonna give you a little insight. All right. Um, First off, I started this thing. Um, I had this idea a long time ago, like 8 years ago. I the changetheculture.org domain. I bought that um, for thousands of dollars. Okay, and I'm going to tell you that was one of the most exciting moments of my life when I realized that was available, and then I was able to bid and get it down to my budget and get that domain. I mean, I literally was jumping up and down for joy. Like literally, it was a great day for me because I have very good ideas about this, and I think they are impactful and can be effective. But what I've tried over the years this and that little thing, but a lot's happened. A lot's happened. This was 2000, I believe, 18, and a lot's happened. So I was I had a huge commercial project I was in charge of, um, and then I'm a construction guy, right? Um, and I'm a carpenter. Just a little bit about me. And I have my own companies for a general contractor in Florida. I'm in Tampa, Florida now. Actually, I was in Miami for 12 years. And then, I have a cabinet company, right? So um, anyway, I was actually working for another company at the time as a superintendent on a big commercial job in Miami, and that finished, and then I was things just spun out a little bit on me. So I gained my balance again. I actually took another job with another company as a consultant that they were paying my company, and I was doing. And then COVID hit. Right, I was actually building a restaurant. I was actually building an 800 degrees restaurant. That's another story. But because I actually worked in Dwayne Wade's house before all that. I worked in his house for 5 months doing millwork and stuff like that, and that when they were remodeling a house in Miami, and then I turned around and was like in charge of installing this restaurant, and it's pretty wild. Anyway, so um, things just spun out, and I was trying to like get money together, and I honestly put a lot of money into this. I don't really want to say how much money. I mean I probably, if I'm gonna guess, it's close to 40 grand. And I mean, it's not money I have. I'm not rich, and it's painful, honestly, for me. And especially that I don't really. I think I learned very quickly that you need. I needed more of two things: more people to help me, and more money. That was all there is to it. Now I was actually doing care packages using these little bags. We would go out, and I had these friends of mine help me, and actually they were working with me part time, helping me do the little flyers, doing these little things, and we would do care package, and I'm uh, I used to be a personal trainer, so I'm all into nutrition and working out and eating right. And so I would have protein, water, some good carbs in there like granola bar, something. I mean, cleaning wipes, not just regular hand wipes, but like body wipes. Like if you're on a boat or something like that, you go out, you don't have a shower, you can use these to like clean off, freshen up a little bit. A packet of those, just a bunch of things in there. I'm trying to think what else we had, but anyway, that's there's goes a lot of money real fast, and it was just not as impactful as I wanted it to be. But I learned things from it. I learned a lot from it, and and like I say, I learned I need a stronger, like tiding people over while you're doing something bigger, I guess. But really, I have to get to something bigger going on, and um, I'm done putting it off. And running the service business was uh, very stressful because it would always come back on me if a subcontractor failed or something like that. And it constantly sucked my attention, sucked my money. And then I moved to Tampa from Miami. Just so many things happened. I mean, all of a sudden, 8 years go by and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm like, where is this in my world? This is my legacy. This is what I want. I don't care about being a general contractor. I don't care about, there's a million cabinet guys. There's a million freaking contractors. I don't care. There's not a million people would change the culture. And there's not a million people with my ideas that could really change and help our society. So that's what it's all about is basically confronting these societal problems that we have, like homelessness, crime. Um, um, that's a lot of it right there that I feel like I want to impact. Okay, I mean education's another one, but that all goes into the mix here. So with my general contracting license here in Florida, what I would love to do is come up with enough funds to build a campus, and I mean a large campus. I'm talking about something that I buy. I honestly haven't thought about the land yet, but there are a lot of things that could happen in this campus, and I want it. I want to have the room to do what I'm thinking in this moment, plus other ideas that people might come up with that, hey, this works and this works and boom. And I just want to have more than enough room. And I think probably 50 acres is a minimum. 50 acres of land, buy 50 acres of land and um, put up basically dormitories and facilities for running people through a program, getting people from point A here, pull them up, run them through a program, and send them off, graduated out of our program, and they're not on the street anymore. Okay, so of course you have to filter people, and I'm like I don't. I honestly don't. I don't have the means. I think that trying to deal with people that are focused on getting their next fix is so overwhelming, and that is in and of itself its own world with its own professionals. That if I in the screening process, we figure out that they need that help, then they go to that third party organization that can help them get through that. And once they finish that, then they can come to our program and work through our program, and off they go, okay, into a productive, meaningful life for themselves instead of just living on the street. Because I just can't imagine it. And some people, they live on the street because they want to live on the street. But I think it's because they don't think they have the means to not live on the street. They think it's too difficult to not live on the street. And I tell you what, I don't misunderstand them at all. I think we all know that sometimes it's tough. We're just trying to draw ends together here and make them meet. And nonetheless, so uh, veterans, can have a certain program. Disabled people, mentally disabled people, people struggling with say maybe dementia or schizophrenia. I want to make a program for that. And I have an idea about all this. This is not, I've had plenty of time to think about it, and I've done just that. Um, and the power of it is that I can use my contractor license for this stuff. I can use my contractor license to build facilities and to buy and remodel facilities or properties to suit what we need. And I think that's powerful. And it all gets done full transparency. I don't have to look at a third party for the contracting and worry that they're going to rip me off, because I have complete vision and I know everything about the numbers. I know everything about everything, and I can do everything basically at cost. Okay, so that's a brilliant thing. So that's the long and the short. Now, I made a couple of videos years ago that some of it's like some of the things I say are like uh, whatever. I didn't edit. I'm not going to edit those videos. I just want to post them and show them. Okay, in this right now, while I have your attention, I'm saying just this. I'm not going to post them separately because I think they lose value. But it's part of what I'm saying. Okay, kids. That's the other thing. So kids, I want to have chapters. I want to have chapters all over the country. Okay, lots and lots and lots of chapters somehow. This is where I get a little bit like I need like somebody to come in and say, well, this is how you're going to have to handle this. Like, this is a big deal. Like, sometimes I think, man, I'm like nuts. I don't think I really fathom what I'm talking about. How many people we're talking about, and how many, like, all the things that could go wrong. And people just, they're crazy. They're nuts right now. Okay, so I mean, whatever. It's not going to stop me. We're going forward. Okay, I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm a business owner, and I'm a fighter with those two qualities. Like where that created the quality of integrity, uh, detail oriented, and keep going. Press on. Press on. Something happens. This happens. Okay. Well, what's our solution? Okay. That's a story of my life. Make solutions. There are no problems, just only solutions, right? So, uh, um, kids, though, I want to have chapters all over the country where the community, we create a sense of community, and this is so huge. This is what's so missing. It is so missing. Everybody's imploding in their own lives. They're looking at their phones all the time, and we need to put the phone down. We need to talk to our neighbors. We need to know the kids in the area. We need to be holding those kids accountable. People need to be watching. People need to be just create that sense of community. Time to like get a little nosy again. You know, it's I think we're minding our business too much. Craziness, right? But I'm just saying, we have to have a community. We have to have a place where we all fellowship, we all gather, we all get not just church and not just your religious organization or whatever. That being said, everything to do with change the culture for me is nonpartisan. Okay? I don't care if you vote red. I don't care if you vote blue. I don't care if you're Muslim. I don't care if you're a Christian. I don't care if you're Jewish. I don't care if you're Hindu. I don't care if you're Buddhist. I don't care if you're atheist. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. And that being said, literally, I want it to be a law of our organization that none of that is allowed to be spoken. We don't speak about any of that. We're not talking about politics. We're not talking about religion. Okay? We're not talking about gender stuff. We're not talking about sexuality. None of that is up for discussion. That's not what this is about. This is about helping people. Okay? And that is the focus. This is about, you have to know what your objective is, and you have to stay true to that objective. So if you're in a change the culture chapter, and the idea is that you create that sense of community so that the kids have something to do besides running around on freaking motorcycles and popping wheelies and getting into trouble, then that's then stay true to that. Give them something to do from a young age, and nurture them with love and attention and something to do. And you basically create a community where they're doing something else. They're getting involved with other things, you know. Um, so that's the long and the short. And in that you will lower crime in just 10 years. The time that I just wasted, basically. Okay? So shame on me a little bit, but the crime will just steady go down. It will go down. It'll just steady go down. I think the kids that are that were 8 that are now 14 or 16 or 18, they're getting into trouble. It's possible to like reel them back in. A lot of them though, maybe it's unlikely, and they're just gonna, you're not gonna, it's gonna be hard to turn their mentality around. They just have this, they just, they've been taught that, um, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like being a gangster is glamorous. They glamorize that, with the games and the TV and it's nuts anyway. So it's going to be hard to change their mentality. That I'm not saying it's impossible, but what's done is done, kind of thing. And you just let that. That's kind of like the police. The police are the reactive state. They're the reaction. The police and the government. The government will never fix this problem, and the police can never fix this problem because it's not the police, it's not law enforcement's job to fix this problem. Okay? It they're called after something happens, right? They're called when somebody's missing, when somebody gets shot, when there's an accident, right? They're called after something bad happens. So we need to get ahead of that with our community approach, and start not just letting it to the schools, because here so many kids are being indoctrinated and groomed in schools too, and schools can be god awful. They can be god awful, right? Other kids being bullies and so on. So it's about accountability, it's about community, and that's that. So I'm going to show you these other 2 videos. Yes, this is with what I just said and the 2 videos coming. Just hold on, and by the end of it, you're going to know what's up. And by the end of it, I mean, already, please click follow. You got to follow. And everywhere, I'm going to set up all the social media, so you just find us everywhere and follow everywhere. I need people getting in on this just to follow for now. I'm not asking for any money. I want to get people involved. I want to hear back from you. I want to hear ideas. Other people that feel like they want to actually be involved in this directly with me. I'm going to think of a way for you to contact me, that's reasonable, but I'm going to figure that out. So maybe a contact form on my website might be the best thing. Yeah, I think it's on there, to changetheculture.org. So yeah. Anyway, all right. So watch these 2 videos. Follow, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. So I thought I'd walk and talk. Took a little walk. So I want to talk about community because I feel like this to me is single-handedly probably the largest key issue that we face, that has, I think, community basically has deteriorated. And the sense of community, so what is the sense of community? For me, sense of community is communication and involvement with one another. giving a helping hand, that kind of thing, you know. Um, um, so I think that, for example, if I go just a little north, I'm in Miami, so if I just go a little north into like, you know, the Carolinas or the Midwest, and I think most people know this, that you get a lot of hellos there. Hey, how you doing? Hello, hello, hello. And it's a very nice atmosphere, a very nice thing, you know. Um, if you go to places that are more condensed, like Chicago, New York, or Miami, I'm not saying this doesn't happen, but you get a lot less of it for sure. And I think that, um, you know, why is that? I want to like, I want to like really research that, dive into that, and figure out why that is, and conquer that, because that's part of I think. Yeah, I got interrupted by a phone call. Sorry about that. That fast as sunset. 10 minutes. Anyway, community. The definition of community is people living in the same place or having the same characteristic or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I think that I'm actually going to walk up to the store while I'm doing this little video. Is my hair sticking up funny? Oh boy, she's all teasing me. So um, I think it's much deeper than that. To me, community is it's like I said, involvement with one another. It's communication with one another. It's not just living in the same place. That's an establishment. That's like you know, community to me is it, like I say, single-handedly is it could be the key factor to massive change in this country. And I want to instill that in everybody that comes in contact with changetheculture.org. So, how you doing, buddy? See, we said hello. No, that's my friend, actually. He comes in here and he feeds some of the cats. I feed some of the cats. We keep the cats alive. So, anyway, um, so yeah, that's it. So I encourage everybody to start saying hello to someone. You know, I mean, obviously you need to use your judgment, but start saying hello to more people. You know, that's a hi, how you doing? And as far as community goes with helping people, we can volunteer. You'll be able to volunteer through Change the Culture. You'll be able to uh, donate through Change the Culture. And honestly, this is also a long time ago. I read a so a long time ago I read an article about the predictors of happiness, and there was a list of things, a lot of things, which I can't remember right now, but I remember a few of them. One was like being in touch with nature, animals, and not your pet dog either. I'm not talking about that, but like um, you know, being out in nature, near nature, having contact with nature. Period. Um, Another one was social ergonomics, which I think they were talking about community there as well, and that was exactly like if you live in, let's just like I'm going to use, well, I could use a local areas, but only local people would know what I was talking about. So in a very spread out country like setting, those social ergonomics, if you will, they aren't there. They really don't exist too well. However, a very condensed place, like for example, um, in Miami, they've really just built up an area called Brickell, and that is about as socially ergonomic as you can imagine. And anybody that's in Miami listening to this knows what I'm talking about. That there is everything there that you can live there and work there and it's all, you don't have to have a car. You don't even have to have a bike. And people are everywhere doing things, and that is social ergonomics set up for really tight community atmosphere. Okay, and that is, I think that's awesome. But we need to make a better effort to achieve this without those ergonomics anyway. So anyway, those are my thoughts on community. So start saying hello to people like I'm about to do. Wait a minute. Oh, they made it right. Anyway, how you doing? How you doing? So anyway, that's it. So start saying hello and don't get hit by a car. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was, by the way, I do own a car. A couple of them actually. I'm just walking the walk because I haven't done that lately. It's been so hot in Miami. Wow. I just didn't want to go outside. So I want to talk about education. I believe education is the key to a lot of changes in the country. I think there's too many people that don't go to school or don't finish school or don't do continued education into college, and this is having a real impact on us, a very bad impact. We have to make a commitment, basically, to help people want to learn. Honestly, that's number one, and then two, I think schools. We all know there's good school districts, and there's very bad school districts. So, and I think even no matter what school district you're in, I think there's things that they just don't teach. There's things that they should be teaching. All the things, all the tools you really need in life, they completely overlook. It's amazing to me, like opening a checking account, or what's involved in opening a business, or the governmental side of things. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't been to school in a while, but I'm just saying, I don't remember any of that. I think that in the lower income areas, especially in like condensed city areas, there's just a whole different culture there, and that's part of why I named this organization Change the Culture, because sometimes kids get wrapped up in inner city life that is, they see it as inescapable. And I learned this actually from a gentleman I made friends with through my work. He was from that life. I mean, and he described and explained the whole thing to me. We had amazing conversations, and that, I tell you, that stuck with me, and I think that is part of another fraction of what inspired me to start all of this, and just that helping hand to help people realize their true potential and to help them reach that true potential. And I remember helping him because at the time I met him, he said he was dealing drugs to try and pay bills and live, and that was the life and he lived. And I said, well, man, you don't need to do that. I mean, that's bad. You're just gonna wind up getting shot or being in jail or something, and he didn't want that. So he wanted to drive trucks. He wanted to get his CDL and drive trucks. And I said, well, okay, I'm going to help you. So I helped him. And
I, I kept him busy with my business and working, and he had a bad leg, and he had a real bad leg. When he was like 13, he got hit by a car doing 45 miles an hour, and one of these deals. He's in the city, runs across the street, thinking he's going to make it. He didn't make it. Somebody hit him, and really damaged his leg, and he didn't. It was so bad that he didn't want to show me his foot and his leg. He wouldn't show me, and I'm still at my office, actually, my work. But so basically, uh, he was the hardest worker that I had. I had a few guys. Sorry, I got to print. There was a few guys working for me, and he was the hardest. He was just like, he was always, what's next, what's next, what's next. I'm like, geez, Whiz, give me a break, man. He was awesome. Will was his name, William, and I'm trying to get a hold of him now, actually, to see how he's doing, because I haven't talked to him in a while. He's from where I'm from in Baltimore, and now I'm in Miami, so I've been here 6 years. But anyway, um, he explained to me that the kids, that they have a really hard time breaking that mold and getting out of inner city life, and you're very intimidated by it. Like the people around you intimidate you into thinking that you're supposed to be staying in that, and I think that's obviously that's awful. So what I'm planning is that we put together classes that they teach sociology, they teach psychology, like, so the kids, like, it's pointed now. It's not you're going to get a psychology degree, but it's pointed sociology lessons and pointed psychology lessons to teach them and show them what's going on around them, so that they can identify the situations for what they are. And that, to me, is the first step in breaking the chain. So, and of course, they learn something about it, and it's great for them. So maybe they would take an interest in that and want to go to school for that. So um, teach them math. Teach them why math is so important. And try and think of a job where you don't need math. There's not many of them. You have to have math skills. Um, teach them how to perfect English, how to write a resume, how to interview for a job, how to start a business if they were considering that, what would be involved, how to apply for a loan, how to, on and on, and why your credit is so important, why your reputation is so important, to be a productive part of the community. So that's a huge player. This is something where we will set up satellite um, volunteer classrooms. They'll happen at night. I imagine, and 2, 3 nights a week in a community, in a neighborhood or an area, and people apply, and we get them involved, and off they go. And I think there's a lot of kids that don't have that sense of family, let alone community. So we're going to try and give them that sense of family, and we're going to try and show them love and support, and point them in that direction, figure out what they're good at, what they want to do, and help them do it. Am I crazy? Am I just absolutely crazy? All right, I probably am. That's okay. We're going to push forward.